Hey everyone, I'm Connor, and with me is Hudson the GYRFALCON, one of my favorite ambassadors to work with, and one with perhaps one of the most unique stories among our education animals here at the center, because out of all of our birds that we have, he's the only one that was never a patient at the center, and also never a patient elsewhere either. He was actually hatched in captivity as a falconry bird. He's cleaning his beak right there. And he was later in life transferred to our center from another facility. And he has done a really great job at our center and fits in really well with our team of ambassadors as we go off-site for programs to teach people more about these animals. Hudson in particular, his species, the Gyrfalcon, is not really commonly found here in Virginia. In fact, we actually didn't know that they used to travel to Virginia. They're really Arctic birds. They live in Arctic regions up in Canada or Alaska. But what was interesting was the first ever Gyrfalcon that was confirmed to be here in Virginia was one that we admitted as a patient. Oh, a nice little rouse there. One that we admitted as a patient in the 1980s, I believe. Before then, we didn't know that this species would travel this far south. So now it's cool, all these years later, after we discovered that, we now have Hudson here as an ambassador for his species so he can teach people about these seldom seen birds in our region. And I'm going to go ahead and give him a treat because I think he's been eyeing some of the food I have down here for him. There we go. So you can see if you look at the coloration and the pattern, you can kind of see how they would fit in an Arctic region. They have a lot more white on them, sort of that dark gray patterning on the back there. And something that I think is really great about Hudson here at the center is he is a bird that is a little easier to work with than some of the other birds for new trainers. So as we have new trainers that join our team and start working with our education birds, once they get ready to work with larger birds, Hudson here is usually the first one that they work with because he is quicker to trust new people. He is more forgiving of mistakes than other birds might be. So he's a really great bird for new trainers to work with as they're developing their handling skills and getting a bird like this out on the glove. And then once they sort of master those skills, they can continue to work with some of our other birds. So Hudson has a really important role to help teach some of our team members those bird training and handling skills. He does a really great job at that. And you can see he's out on the glove right now, and that is because Hudson is also one of our more program-ready birds. So as program requests come through at schools, at libraries, or other events, if we decide we're going to bring a bird, Hudson is usually one of the ones that's on the front of our mind there, just because we know that he's a good fit. He's really quite ready for programs, while some of the other birds we have might still be going through that training process to get comfortable. So he is doing a great job. There we go. And right now what I'm feeding him is just some little pieces of mouse. So every single day he gets food. He, as a falcon, he has a very high metabolism, so he gets food every single day. And we usually feed him either mice or rats. Occasionally, once a week, he'll get chick, or even his favorite food, which he gets once a week, is quail. So we'll give them that. Usually we'll cut it up into bite-sized pieces that we can use for training, just like this. And as you can see, he is always very excited to get the food. Now, in the wild, they would primarily prey on birds. They'll occasionally eat small mammals as well, like hares. But a lot of the times they'll capture birds, even right out of the air, and then force them to the ground. They are really amazing hunters. They'll oftentimes just kind of stick to the high ground, whether it's on, up in a tree or something, that kind of scanning for those prey items as they go by. And then they're very fast and agile birds and able to catch them quite well. Now, you may have heard a little bit earlier some noises that Hudson would make. I would say he's also one of our more talkative birds for sure. So something else that I think is pretty cool to point out is falcons, because they're often catching birds right out of the air, they tend to have pretty large feet with really long digits. So I'm going to just lift him up a little bit there, and you can see his feet. He does have very, very large feet for catching those prey items, but because birds like this are a little bit less active in captivity, they can sometimes get foot issues. So sometimes that we'll also do is we'll go ahead and just check on the feet. Just like that. Hudson is sort of trained to do that. He knows we're just checking on him, and then afterwards he knows that he can get a nice little treat for it. So usually our birds are named either as part of like a naming contest with the public, or sometimes they're named for specific reasons. And in Hudson's case, he is named after the Hudson Bay, which is a body of water up in Canada where these birds might frequent. So it was just a very fitting name for him once he joined our team of ambassadors. One question we often get about Hudson is how he does in Virginia, since these birds are more often found in Arctic climates. He has adapted quite well to the climate here. He has a lot of shade in his enclosure. He has access to a large water tub so that if he wants to, he can take a nice bath. And for fun, we sometimes will add ice to his bath as enrichment. And then, of course, during the winter time, he very much enjoys the snow that we get here in Virginia. So he's adapted quite well to his enclosure here. He hasn't really had any type of issues that we've seen. Another thing that I think is really, really cool and really fun about including Hudson in our programs here at the center is it's a chance for the public to meet a bird that they really otherwise would not get a chance to see, and bring a little taste of the Arctic to Virginia here. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of Hudson and our other ambassadors, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Does this program get your stamp of approval? Maybe? I am Hudson, and I approve this message.